Yo, what's up everybody? Is this working? Oh cool, it's working. Check the scene out, it's so sick here. It's probably gonna be overexposed, but look at this shit, dude. Oh, it's such a beautiful spot up here. It's almost like out of a movie, out of like a Ghibli movie, a Studio Ghibli movie. Oh my God, this is all gonna be messed up, give me a sec. So pretty funny story. I have started gardening now. There is a person here named Connie. She is one of the gardeners here, and she always sees me hanging out around here. And she recruited me to essentially start helping out at the garden. So for the last 3 weeks now, every Sunday, I've been helping out the garden about 3 hours. Just random stuff like weeds, clearing out like grass, stuff that nobody else wants to do, taking out the trash, all that type of stuff. Because it's like a community garden. And so today, I got some flowers. So I'm gonna put this at my house. And Connie also cooked up some rhubarb crisp. That was very nice of her. And so yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun actually. I feel like my Sundays are usually really, historically, it's actually been, how do I say this? At my last company, when I was working on Build Space, I still took Sundays off, almost, like literally always actually. Sundays have always been my day off. But like you know when you take a day off, but then you go into work the next day and it didn't actually feel like you took a day off? I think that's how my days off felt like for years, where it never felt like I got a real day off. And I feel like something I'm doing really well now is my days off they feel like such days off. Like the next day I come in way more energized because I actually relaxed. I think when I was working at any of my previous companies, I would always take a day off, but my mind was never taking a day off. My mind was always, constantly like processing other things, 24/7. So even though I'm kind of like doing relaxing activities, like canoeing or like, I don't know, watching movies or something, like I never felt relaxed. And so it's really cool to see in me right now that I actually can feel relaxed, even though there's a lot of freaking stuff happening. It's not like, there's a lot of stuff happening with Clickie, which I'll get into, I guess. And so yeah, it's cool to kind of like have an optimal Sunday, like where your rest days, I really am treating my rest days as important or as importantly as my work days. I don't know. I'm not sure what the difference is, to be honest. Because to be honest with you, at Build Space, I also took my rest days very importantly. So what's the difference? I keep thinking about this question, like what is the difference between now and then? Why do I feel so much more different now? And I honestly can't tell you. I just think that maybe the difference is that now I have a way better handle on my mental and just like a way more control over my emotions and how I think about things. And I don't let myself get to a bad place, which is kind of awesome. And I think that goes into to this week. This week was a lot of fun. Like I had a lot of fun this week. This is like one of the most energizing work weeks I've had in a very long time. And why is that? Well, the week prior to this week, we actually did a lot of good stuff. We blew up online. We were, we released agents on Clickie. We just did we shipped a lot of cool product stuff. We had tons of, inbound from users, tons of traffic. And then so when you have that type of week, right? When you have that type of week where you're like really kind of like succeeding, it's fun in the moment, but it's funny, like now, those types of weeks where we're doing really well, they do not make me happy. They do not make me sad. They don't bring me up and they do not bring me down. I think that like, I no longer allow myself to get up or down based on how anything in my company is doing. For example, if my company we got millions of views the previous week before this one, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that neither made me happy and it didn't make me sad. I just kind of was like, oh cool, like, okay, that's what happened. Because I think like it's risky to get happy, really happy when stuff like that happens, because that means you're gonna get really sad when stuff like that doesn't happen. And so I feel like I have a pretty good control now over stuff at the company not getting to me, both positively and negatively, because usually it'll get to you negatively, right? Like that's the most obvious ones. But I think when you get super excited or elated from something, at your company or at my company, then I think that's also risky for me emotionally. And so that being said, I think I look more for energy, like what energizes me, and I think I focus more on that. And yeah. So, anyways, where was I going with this? I was gonna say, the week prior to this one, was very like successful numerically, right? Like hundreds, we hit like all these customers, we got all this attention, and so when you have a really good week, it's really hard to follow that up usually. I think in the past, what I would do is when a week went really well, my next week I would tell myself, this week's got to be even better, or we're trash, and that was kind of my mentality always. Like, we got to push even harder this week, because last week was awesome, but it means nothing if we can't follow it up this week. And, that is like a winner mentality, I think. But I think that mentality doesn't work for me, I don't get energized by that mentality, That mentality will certainly push me, right? But to be honest, I don't need to be pushed. I already am extremely disciplined myself. I already push myself extremely hard. I don't need more push, usually. What I need, though, is I need to be clear-headed, and I need to make sure I make the right decisions that actually end up having a good product created. And I don't think you create a good product out of anxiety, out of needless mental pushing, out of any of these emotions. I think a good product comes from when a team is calm, collected, and just creative. 3 C's, wow. And so, yeah, this week, I didn't have this. I didn't tell the guys. I didn't even tell myself that, hey, we got to do even better this week, or we got to make sure the graph goes up even bigger. It's like, actually, I don't necessarily give a shit about the graph. What I care about is like, great, it's a new week. Where is the product? How do I feel about it? How does the team feel about it? How do the people who love our product feel about it? And I think that like starting the week with that mentality is so much more different for me than starting the week with like, oh my God, how do I grow like 10% this week? Because that mentality, while it works for some people, just does not work for me anymore. And it does not put me in like a calm, collected spot. It puts me in like a stress spot. And I don't need to be stressed. I don't think I'm going to build a good company being stressed. Some people, again, do. Some people do succeed in those circumstances. That's why I'm just putting this on myself. This is my update, This is not advice. But what I was going to say, so yeah, this week, but I think the reason that gets hard at a company is when it's the one thing about like we got to grow even more this week is because everyone can band around that. Your entire team can band around this goal of like, we must push ourselves to get this many, points this week. But I don't think that like I like operating in such an environment personally. So this week, what was the vibe? I was like, hey guys, like it's Monday. Let's look at the product from scratch. Let's look at it with a beginner's mind, and let's see how we feel about it. What we want to change to it, what we don't want to change to it. A big thing we did this week is we talked to users. Every single person on the team, I think, talked to at least 5 users this week, which was wonderful. That's 25 users this week, right? And I think like that's so important, like to ground ourselves in what the people are saying, and in what we also think about our products, to then think about what we want to do next. And so I like how this company is operating in such a way where it's almost very kind of researchy. We don't know what we're going to ship on Saturday or Friday, but we know that by the end of the week, we're going to ship something. Because I cannot work at a company where we're not shipping every week or, every couple of days. And so no matter what, we're going to ship something by the end of the week. But at the beginning of the week, like Monday this week, we don't know what it is. There's no Notion doc, there's no tasks. And I think how we operate instead is, hey, go hack on cool stuff together, present it to each other, and let's see by the end of the week if a release starts to form. And it's crazy because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it didn't look like it was gonna happen. But then end of day Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, crazy stuff started happening because everybody started hacking on things that were building upon other work that we did in the past. And all of a sudden, we had a release that looked like all of a sudden we had a release forming, We had Joshua working on like a new way to orchestrate the agents. We had Nilish working on a new UI for Clickie, which is beautiful, by the way. It's coming out on Tuesday. Then we had Camille working on like integrations for like Notion, Linear, Gmail, all this stuff. And all of a sudden, like out of nothing, something is being born. And to me, dude, that is the most fun. Then you have Vikrant making videos about us and our process. You know, we're not trying to make videos that are popping off, talking about our product. We're just making videos about us and our process. And it is beautiful when you see it in action, when you see a group of people just collaborating together, not stressing out too much, not having too much anxiety about having to push something out, but trying to creatively come up with new ideas with the intention of building towards a release by the end of the week. And man, that's been a lot of fun. Wow, I'm yapping a lot this, I feel like I always yap in these videos, man. But anyways, that's kind of my type of work environment that I find energizing. I do not, in my last companies, I created an environment where we gotta grow every week. If we're not growing, we're trash. We gotta grow if the graph is not going up, we're trash. And I think that environment, while it does breed some level of success, it is not good for my mind and me, and therefore it is not good for the company, or my company rather. And so yeah, such a cool week to see everybody kind of collaborate together and see a release being born from nothing. It's just wonderful to see, man. I mean, some of the ideas that we built this week were ideas that we discussed weeks ago. But it's funny how like you're always waiting for the right moment to actually figure out a way to mold it into the product. Because otherwise your product will turn into this weird Frankenstein thing. And you gotta kind of make sure it always stays like simple and concise and like very clear for the person who's using it. Which is so important in like today's world with AI. Because I feel like every product is just overblown gas nonsense, you know? So I'm trying to not let that happen to whatever product I end up working on here. I'm feeling good about Clickie. A lot of people keep asking me, so far as is Clickie is Clickie it? You know, is this kind of what you're deciding on? Is this the vision? And honestly, I kind of hate that question. I feel like it's because, actually, I'm gonna take it back. I don't hate that question. It's a perfectly valid question, but I think the question is the wrong question. The question is not, oh, is this it? The question is more, hey, Farza, do you see some sort of vision inside of what you're working on that could turn into something more long-term with Clickie? And the answer is, I think so. I think yes. I think that Clickie is just a 4-week step into the world of what a new interface for computers and operating systems could look like. And it is a very, very like glimpse into the future, I think. And I think that is a future that I'd be excited to work on. So that's great. Like, I think that's what I'm excited about right now. Is it gonna be called Clickie? Is it gonna be a cursor? I don't know, you know? But what I do know is like, wait a second, like, there's a lot here. There's a lot of depth here in what we're working on. And so I wanna keep kind of following that thread. So yeah, definitely gonna keep working on clickers. I call them clickers now. I don't know, it's more endearing, but. What else happened this week? We got a trademark violation. So there's a guy, actually, I'm not gonna talk about this right now. I'm gonna talk about this when it's actually settled. Yeah, I'm not, ignore I said any of this. Ignore that. I'll definitely talk about this though, but once it's settled. What else happened this week? Yeah, man, I don't know, that's all I want to talk about. It was a very vibey week. It was, you know, I don't make music, and I hate to be that guy that compares what I do to music or to building products to making music, because it's so different. But what I do want to say is making music is often about collaborating with people on sounds and ideas and visions over a long period of time. And in little moments, little pieces of the song come together, and all of a sudden you have an album. All of a sudden you have an end song, you know? And I think that's kind of what happened this week with us, where it's like, we had all these different themes and sounds and things and features that we were working on. And by the end of the week, we all kind of mashed it together, and it really did feel like a song. And that sounds kind of cringe now that I say it, but that is how I feel internally. Because again, I don't make music. I don't make movies. I'm not a creative in the classic sense, you know? But I do still think that I find a lot of that process and what we do here. Lastly, it's one more week with this team. So this team I brought together for 30 days. That was always the plan. Let's come together in San Francisco for 30 days. And then after that, that's it. So this is everyone's last week. And then at the end of this week, I gotta start thinking about what's next. Is there gonna be a more full-time team? Am I gonna have an office in SF? I gotta answer a lot of these questions this week for myself even. So it's a big week. What else happened this week? Oh, we raised a little bit of money from a VC that a friend runs. So that was really good. I'll maybe announce that more publicly somewhere else, but yeah, we raised some money. I think we'll probably raise some more money at Demo Day. YC's been awesome. YC has been, it's weird. YC, people keep asking me how's YC, and my honest answer is, it's not much. Like, it's one meeting every Monday usually. But I think what I will say about YC is that I think I definitely underestimated the value of being together with a bunch of other people for 90 days with a common goal, which is building a company. I think that aspect of YC has actually been really great for me. And I'm very thankful that Aaron reached out to me and brought this into my wheelhouse. Because who knows, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably still be at my house right now, building stuff by myself. So it's been fun. And I feel like I've been pushing myself a lot these last 9 weeks. You know what's funny? This is my 10th garden vlog, guys. It's only been 2.5 months since I started recording these. So much stuff has happened. 2.5 months ago, I was just starting Make Something, which was my live stream teaching people AI. Can you believe that? Can you believe it's only been 2.5 months? I was talking to some of the guys. It's only been 3 weeks, or what is it? 3 weeks since we started working on Clickie. That is bonkers, the amount of progress that's been made. And I think that's just speaks so much to like the times, you know? The times are all about moving quickly and moving with a lot of intention. Not just moving quickly, because anyone can move quick, but I think moving with intention, I think is the important part. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was actually, I was having a tough morning today. Because sometimes I feel like my mind gets so full of like all the things that I have to kind of think about. Being a solo founder, you have all these different things. Everything from like, this week is ending, to a new team, to like, how do I think about that, to product, to this release, to a live stream, to that video. Like, it's all just in here, right? And I think today, it has been a very healing Sunday, waking up, hitting the gym, doing some groceries, gardening here for 3 hours. I feel very much like energized, I'm excited to get back to work tomorrow, which may sound weird, but it's very surprising for me. For a long time, for many years, I'd be at home on Sunday and I would not look forward at all to the idea of going into work the next day. And I think it's really cool that like, I am excited to go into work tomorrow. And I hope I can keep this up, I think if I do, a great company will come out of this, and a great product will come out of this, and hopefully a great team will come out of this that I continue working with, Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, maybe a little bit of an emotional vlog for some weird reason. I'm not feeling that emotional at all though, but I guess I talked about all that stuff. Yeah, that's it. Thanks guys for watching. If you watch this once again, I really appreciate it. That people care about my life enough to watch these and my journey. A new release comes out on Tuesday. I'm very excited for it. Or maybe Wednesday, I'm not sure yet. It's probably either Tuesday or Wednesday. It's the new version of Clickie, and I'm so excited about it. I'm really excited to show the world. And yeah, that's it. Bye. Also, completely random before I hop off. This week, the CEO of Microsoft, Satya, used Clickie. And the CEO, what's the CEO of NVIDIA? Jensen checked out Clickie, and that was last week. So yeah, two of the biggest, literally of the top 3 companies are checked out the product, which says a lot, man. Honestly, it doesn't make me feel anything. It just makes me feel more like, cool. Like they find it curious. That's some signal. I wouldn't even say it's a good signal, but it's a signal. And yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know, that's about it. Yeah, just cool, I guess, somewhat. All right, so what do we have here, Connie?
We have rhubarb crisp,
Which
and
is?
it is made with rhubarb,
Uh-huh.
cherries, and strawberries.
Ooh,
Okay, you have to take a picture of the rhubarb plant.
the rhubarb plant, which is
That's the big rhubarb.
this one. So this
Big, large thing.
this came from that.
Yeah, let's.
But it's
wait a
not
minute.
but it's not green.
This is the part you eat,
Oh,
the cane.
wow.
So the red part.
Yeah, makes sense.
This has oxalic acid, and if you eat too much of that, you're not going to feel great. Ruth's like, how do you find those people? I'm like, you just get that feeling.